Hey, what's up, travel lovers? It's your boy Sean from the Sean Experiment, and today we're going to talk about international travel and travel news and the impact that the Russia-Ukraine situation is having on international travel. Let's get into it. Alright, so welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. It means so much to me, and I genuinely appreciate it. This video is brought to you by Rogue Traveler Apparel. Go and check it out, www.roguetravelerstore.com. That's Rogue, R-O-G-U-E, travelerstore.com. Check it out. Now, let's get into some news. So, the travel industry was looking forward to a really exciting travel summer. All indications were pointing to a positive restart of international travel and big holidays. And Russia decided to invade the Ukraine, messing up all of our traveling desires. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm saying this lighthearted. Our hearts, of course, go out to the Ukraine and all of those involved in this conflict. Hate to see it on either side. From here, very thankful that we are not having to go through what they are, so our thoughts are with you. But we are here to talk about the travel impact and travel side of that. So if you're watching and have friends or family or loved ones in the Ukraine or in Russia or anywhere, our thoughts are with you. Now let's talk about travel. How's it going to impact that? So lots of news coming out of airspace. Russia says no planes coming in whatsoever. And then the European Union, the EU, has come out and said no planes can go to Russia. And Russia said, oh yeah? Well, no planes from Russia can go to the EU. And that makes perfect sense. Like, who wants to fly to Russia right now? Maybe unless, you live there or work there, don't go. So all airspace in Russia and the Ukraine and Belarus and other little pieces of other areas is being restricted right now. You cannot buy a plane ticket and fly into there. We're also starting to see some roll down impact as well. So, for instance, Norwegian Cruise Lines has went ahead and canceled all cruises that are touching on a port in the Kiev port there in the Ukraine, and any Russian port. And so let me say, they didn't cancel all their cruises. They're just not obviously going to those ports. And that's for the rest of the year. So the rest of 2022, no more cruises there because it's really uncertain. It's hard to plan what's going to happen there. Now, we are hoping this is not a long-standing issue. But of course, how do you know? I mean, you have no idea. So if you were on a cruise, a Norwegian cruise, and I'm sure every other cruise, and a Viking cruise, and all the other ones that go to these areas, it's probably not going to happen. I would reschedule, I would call them, I would make some changes just for the uncertainty. If you're not at least 6 months out or maybe even further, that's what's happening. If you're flying in to Russia or the Ukraine, I would also obviously not go, and not that they're going to let you go anyway, but I would cancel that. But what about if you're going to another European country, right? Like the Western European country. So a lot of the countries around the conflict are seeing some issues. There was actually a report that came out from a travel agency that said a lot of their clients are asking about trips they have to Poland in March and April. And the Polish government actually came out and said, our borders are open. Smooth, no problems at the borders, no problems here. Please come and visit us. So the Polish authorities right now saying very safe to be in Poland. So if you have a trip to that area, you should be good as of right now. Of course, things do change. What about the other areas, right? So I have a trip coming up in June, so I kind of had my eye on the situation as well. We're flying from Florida into London. We're then taking a 10-night cruise on Norwegian Cruise Line, where we'll be hitting, lots of, Scotland and Ireland, different parts, of England, all over the place, and then ending in Amsterdam and then taking a train to Paris. So we'll be all sort of in that Western or that European area, not necessarily super close to the conflict. So I don't think I'm going to have any problems. if you talk to people like the CEO of Booking Holdings, which is Booking.com, so a lot of you probably out there have either heard of or used Booking.com in order to book your travel. The CEO, Glenn Fogel, came out and said that he does not believe it's going to impact travel, especially to that area. So about 50% of Booking.com's travel bookings are international, and he expects that to stay pretty much the same. Now, he did say a lot of their bookings, especially with what's been going on with COVID and now with this conflict, that you should probably book the flexible booking, right, that allows you to cancel or change or move. And a lot of the Booking.com is that way, right? So you can really cancel up to 24 hours or 48 hours. It'll tell you before you book. And so that gives you the flexibility. Of course, if something were to change or you did not feel comfortable, you're good. You just change and go somewhere else or cancel altogether. However, if you're using a service that's not cancelable, yeah, cancelable. If you can't cancel your booking, let's say using a Hotwire, secret rate or a Priceline secret rate, or maybe an airline where you just use that economy light and not the economy classic, where you cannot change your flight, you can't change your hotels, things like that. If you're flying over to maybe a European country or somewhere in that area, I would be careful. So book it maybe with the flexible option, or get the travel insurance, or give you some sort of backing, because I can tell you from personal experience, getting your money back from an airline, from a hotel, from really anybody in the travel industry sometimes can be pretty difficult. But it sounds like it's a thumbs up. So lots of good news coming from the CEOs and executives of all these airplane, flight companies, cruise companies, Booking.com and other travel companies. They don't believe this is going to impact travel significantly, at least as far as you won't be able to. But of course, you may not feel comfortable going to some of these places. It will change your flights. So if you had maybe a layover in a airport that's been shut down, that may change that. With all the other changes, it may change how long it takes you to get there. You might have to fly around, restricted airspace, things like that. So overall, just keep an eye on it. But with COVID, I feel like our flexibility is at an all-time maximum high. So we're good, right? What's this going to do to us? So overall, I think you are safe to travel to Europe. Don't hold me to that. If you go over there and get hurt, be like, Sean told me it was safe. Well, I'm just a dude on YouTube. Don't listen to me when it comes to safety, right? But I think you're okay. I'm going to go. I'm taking my mom, so I think it's safe. So I practice what I preach. And we'll be there in June, so we'll keep an eye on the situation. Are you going to Europe? Did you have a planned trip to Russia or to the Ukraine or somewhere over in that area, maybe Poland, where they're saying it's safe to go? And how is that going to impact your decision? We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. As of right now, this has been Travel News. See you later. It's your boy Sean. Peace.